I'm Ryan Milliken from Hardway Performance, and you're listening to the Diesel Podcast.
I'm Dimitri Miller with No Zone Diesel.
This is Anthony Rings from XDP.
This is Jaron Holder from Holderdown Performance.
Corey Willis from PPEI.
I'm Drew with D&J Precision Machine.
I'm Pinky.
And you're listening to the Diesel Podcast.
Diesel Podcast.
You're listening to the Diesel Podcast.
The Diesel Podcast, the one and only Diesel Podcast.
What is going on, Diesel Nation? Today's episode's about an event coming up this weekend. Michael Dalton from RLC Motorsports is going to tell us about it. You guys gotta go. There are so many companies showing up, so many race teams. They're going to have a huge vendor row, tons of different things. But before we get to that, we wanted to thank two of our sponsors. They help make these episodes possible. Dan's Diesel Performance has a ton of Duramax drop-in turbos ready to go. So if you're looking to lower EGTs, make a bit more power, go to dansdieselperformance.com. Those guys will hook you up. Also, we wanted to tell you about BD Diesel's summer transmission sale. So these guys, they've got transmissions on sale from now till Labor Day. It covers Dodge, 47, 48 REs, 518s, Allisons from 2001 to 2010, and then Ford E4ODs, 4100s, 5R110s. You get $300 off transmissions and $100 off torque converters. Go to dieselperformance.com. You can check out the sale, the summer sale, all the products that are on there, and save some money and get yourself a built transmission. All right, let's get to the podcast with Michael Dalton from RLC Motorsports. Michael, it is great to have you back on the podcast. How you been since the last time we chatted on the podcast?
You know, been doing great, Patrick. We've been staying wide open. I think since the last time we spoke, we moved to our new shop.
Yeah.
Location got it going, and it has just been wide open since then.
I love the new shop. It looks great. It's always packed.
Thank you so much. We're extremely fortunate with it, and it's been the best move to date.
You know, I've been seeing a lot of posts on Facebook, on Instagram about an event that you do that's coming up this week. And I wanted to ask you about it so our listeners, if they're close, they can drive out. Even if they're not close, they can drive out there, have some fun with their trucks, see some vehicles race and all that. What's the name of it? Where is it located? What time does it start?
Absolutely. Okay, so it's Rocky Top Diesel Shootout, number 5. This is our 5th year of doing it. It's been really an awesome event for us over the years. We started out kind of with an ideal of, hey, let's put an event on. We're racers. We want to run it like racers are running it, right? Make sure to take care of them. So in return, we focused real heavy on doing big payouts. As the years have gone by, now we've become part of ODSS and created that series, which in return has implemented a system that every race, there's over $30,000 in payouts.
Wow.
So if you go to our race, Rudy's, Shide, TS, and then even Ryan Milliken's race that's coming up, Hardway Performance, down in Florida in September, all these races are guaranteed $30,000 in payouts. So that helped tremendously because that set the platform for us. And then as time has gone on, we've expanded and focused on how to make it a show, right? Think about this, Patrick. You've been to races all over the country. We've obviously been to races all over the country. The diesel program is growing at a tremendous rate, but it's still not to where gas races are. So we don't see 400 to 500 vehicles show up at a big race. You know, 100 to 200 diesel-powered vehicles, that's a pretty solid race,
yeah.
Right? So to give the customer, the fan, full entertainment, that's what we've been focusing on the past 2 years, is how do we do that so that you're not only coming to watch trucks go down the track, but you're actually going to enjoy your time from the minute you walk in the gate to the time you leave. You're going to be like, man, this is awesome. I want to go back next year. I'm going to start looking forward to it, you know? So to answer your question directly, Rocky Top Diesel Shootout is in Crossville, Tennessee. It'll be held at the Crossville Dragway. This year, what's awesome, man, is on Friday we will hold our qualifying, but we've also got a quick 8 shootout with gas vehicles versus diesel vehicles.
Nice.
Yeah, man. I'm excited because, we hear a lot of the guys trash talking, with the gas vehicles, and they're like, oh, yeah, those diesels are slow. You can't make one of those things go fast. I'm here to say otherwise. Man, there are some guys that I am absolutely just blown away by what they're doing right now. You look at Ben Shetty with Dunright Diesel and his Ram 1500 he has. That truck is going unbelievably fast, and I believe this weekend we will see a record set in the Pro Mod class with it either Rollins Barnes from Rudy's or Ryan Milliken from Hardway in the Nova. These three guys, man, have been busting at it and doing everything they can, and they're gonna beat 470s, and it's gonna happen this weekend.
That's cool. It's so interesting you say that because, the trucks are going faster than they can't run quarter miles because the rules don't even apply anymore, and we got to wait for the rules to catch up.
You're exactly right. The advancement in the technology, applying the power, the chassis, just everything from top to bottom has come up in the past 2 years so much. It's unbelievable. And I'm just humbled to get to be a part of this. Our event that we started 5 years ago had a couple hundred people show up. Now it's become the largest event in Tennessee, largest diesel event. I should be clear about that. And with the show aspect of it, we added some things this year. We added the Quick 8 race on Friday night. But we've got Diesel Dave and the Muscle from the Diesel Brothers. They're coming out.
Oh, that's cool.
Man, what's awesome about it is these guys are going to have a lot of fan interaction. I think last time we spoke earlier this week, or last week, I'm sorry, they're actually going to do some grudge racing with random fans out of the crowd. So, when does that opportunity come about?
Never.
You got it. So they're going to do some stuff like that. We've got, I'm really fortunate, got some friends that are professional stunt riders on motorcycles. Jesse Toller holds a Guinness Book of World Records. Man, they're going to come out, they're going to put a show on during intermissions of the event and just have excitement to the event itself. And then followed up with Saturday, we'll be racing all day and putting on, I feel like, the best racing that we can possibly put on. It's awesome, man, to see. We've got industrial injection coming all the way from Salt Lake City, right? So they're bringing out, Bob and Homer are bringing out the D-Max truck. They've been doing a ton of work to that. They're going to be in the Pro Street class. We just confirmed last week Donovan Harris is coming all the way from Alberta, Canada, and bringing their truck.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so, Lenny's going to load up with him, and they're leaving out tomorrow morning and drive across the country. So, I see these questions pop up, and guys will be like, man, I just don't know. It's an hour and a half drive or it's a 3-hour drive. And I'm like, man, these guys are coming to race, and they're driving literally, talking to Lenny and Donovan the other day, they're driving 38 hours one way. So I'm like, 3 hours is a pretty short trip in my book. It really humbled with that. Bob and the guys from Industrial, heck, they're on the way right now. They'll probably be here at the shop tonight. So we're really looking forward to that. We've got some awesome diesel dragsters that'll be showing up. Shad will have their dragster. Wade Moody's bringing his. King Speed. And I feel like between those guys, there's going to be some records set there this weekend also. The weather is looking good. The temperatures are looking great, 80 degrees for a high.
Oh, nice.
We finally got away from the 100-degree weather for at least a week. It's going to be in play to really make some stuff happen. And then Saturday night, the one thing we noticed as racers and as fans and whatnot, when we go to these events, a lot of times after the event's over, the younger crowd and people in general just don't have anywhere to go per se. So they'll take out and they'll go to town, right? And they'll go find a parking lot and create a parking lot party. And And that lasts until the cops come over and say, no, it's not happening. So this year, instead of pushing that out into the community, we kind of embraced it and said, you know what, we're going to get a couple bands to play, right? So we've got 2 local bands that are really awesome. They're going to be out Saturday night. We got a big stage, full deal set up for them. And we're saying, hey guys, man, just hang out here, have fun, enjoy yourselves. Don't be out in town. Don't be getting in trouble. And don't be, let's keep our local community real happy and about this event occurring.
That's really cool. That is something that does happen at events where, when it's over, it's just the excitement's still there and it can spill over, but you guys keeping it, in a venue where they can have fun and, still talk about trucks and keep the communities are important as well for all the people that come into town.
That's the thing of it, I think, speaking to the track owner this weekend, we're going to try to make our own burnout box. You know how it is, you go to these events, guys end up in parking lots, and they want to do a burnout and show off their horsepower, and that's great. We don't have a problem with that. So let's find a spot at the track we can do it safely, and you can blow your tires off for all we care. So yeah, man, the weekend, it's looking awesome. Like I say, I'm completely humbled by all the great racers and fans that are making the haul over to us. And now we want to focus on giving them the best show possible.
It sounds like it's going to be epic. The list that you mentioned. I know Wade Moody's done some crazy things recently with times and setting records and industrial injection, and Ryan Milliken and Ben Shaddy and all the, King Speed, all the guys showing up. It's going to be a great show.
Man, I'm so impressed. So last month we were at TS, and Wade Moody was clicking off like 4 1X passes in his dragster, which was just unbelievable. 411, I think, maybe a 415. Just really carrying the mill. And the car still has a lot left in it, that wasn't tapped out. You look at industrial injection in the D-Max truck. They pulled the Duramax out, put the Cummins in last year. They went to UCC, did phenomenal with it, and then went back home to Utah and started working on it heavily and talking to Bob and Homer. Man, they've lost quite a bit of weight since UCC. So they've got 2,000 plus horsepower on tap and a substantially lighter race truck. So I think it's going to be really impressive to see what they can put up on the board.
What Ryan's doing too, like that car, just the looks of that car.
Man, that car is absolutely just rowdy. He and I were talking last night about it, and during the month and a half, 2 month break we've had, he's been working really hard on it, him and Daniel Pierce, and I think that they're not only going to get down the track, they're going to get down the track and put a number on the board that's going to shock a lot of people. The car has done already in the 50s, right, at a radio prep race. But I know they've been working really hard on suspension, more power, yada, yada, yada. I think they're going to definitely put a number up that's going to shock people. I mean, Levon, Fire Punk Crew, Larson, they're bringing the S10, right?
Oh, cool.
That S10 is so awesome. I don't know if you had the opportunity to see it in person yet, but they did a phenomenal job on building it. And I think it's going to be another one like, what tricks do they have up their sleeves? What have the Hobbits been hiding out doing in the past 2 months? What do they got? We saw what they did at TS, and now what are they going to do down here at RTDS? So definitely this is going to be the event, in my opinion, to not miss. This is the one to be at. And we really want to focus. We've got to focus on our racers, right? Because last year we had about 170 trucks show up, and I can't say how much I appreciated that. So this year we're hoping that we carry those same numbers or maybe even bigger and break the 200 mark with racing vehicles. That would be absolutely unbelievable, but also our fans, man, because it's a two-way street there. We've got to make sure we're taking care of them, and then let's not forget the vendors, right?
Yeah.
These vendors, they play such a huge part in us being able to even have this event with coming on board. This year, it's our largest year yet. Been getting a lot of messages, hey, is such and such company going to be there? I can tell you this, if you can think of a major company in the diesel world, they're going to be there. We have 38 vendors confirmed.
Wow.
So it's so humbling, man, because I'm just like, wow, here we are in Tennessee and got this going, and I'm really excited. Everybody I've been talking to for the past couple of weeks is just excited, and it's like, okay, let's get to Friday now.
Well, that's the thing, is I've been seeing it on social media and posts for it and people talking about it and the buzz. And I was like, I've got to talk to Michael and see what's going on with this event, because I've heard about it. Unfortunately, I haven't had the opportunity to go yet, but I know it's been just growing and getting more popular. And you touched on all the things that I think make an event so cool. As you get the racers, you get the different kind of vehicles that the diesel community wants to see, and then you get the crowd there so they can have fun and be safe if they want to participate, and then you get the vendors as well, and it's going to be a home run.
I really, really think it will. This year we have put just a ton of effort in trying to determine how to create the best possible show. Like I say, you and I have both been fortunate enough to travel the country and see events and take note and see where it can be improved on. And then not only that, we look back at ourselves and previous years and we say, hey man, last year, Mike, you screwed up here. You should have done this. So I take note, and I take the criticism, and then I try to write it and change it for this year. And then after this year's over, for 2019, we'll be going ahead and looking at it again. How can we continuously keep improving and just making the event bigger and better every year?
That's so cool. That's what's driving this and events and filling the stands and getting people maybe who haven't seen Ryan Milliken's Nova or Ben Shaddy or Levon's S10, or guys who just aren't familiar, where they get to see it and then they get hooked, and then they're next time bringing their truck out to do some racing or doing something with their diesel, and create an enthusiast.
Absolutely. And looking back over the years, I think right now is probably one of the most impressive times to be involved in diesel racing. And the reason why I say that is, in our younger years, or 5 years ago, we were seeing advancement in technology and in the trucks. We didn't see the advancement in the chassis. We didn't see the mind-blowing horsepower numbers that we are today, right? In 5 to 10 years ago, the gas community looked at us as, man, that's my tow truck. That's not a race truck.
Right.
Fast forward to today, the gas community is now looking at these diesel vehicles, be it truck or car or dragster, and they're stepping back and going, damn, they're fast. Like, they're really fast. And I feel like if we can get both sides of the community, the gas and the diesel, to come to an event where they can see each other as peers and respect the hard work that's going into it, and the hours of dedication just to get these trucks tuned and be reliable enough to go 5 rounds. You remember 5 to 10 years ago, getting a truck to go 2 rounds was really hard. 3 rounds. 5 rounds was pretty much out of the thinking pattern.
Yeah.
Now you fast forward to it, and And these guys are running the quick 8 Friday night. Man, they're going to run Friday night. They're going to race Saturday. And when I hit Ryan Milliken up about it, he never even missed a beat. I said, Ryan, would you want to get in on this? He's like, what time you want me there? You know, he didn't say, oh, man, I got to race on Saturday. No, he said, what time we racing? You know? Rollins from Rudy's, same thing. Never even missed a beat. What time? So their vehicles can go rounds, and they're not afraid to prove that they can go rounds. And that's why I say I think today is probably some of the most exciting times to get to see diesel drag racing.
It is, yeah, exactly what you said about you know, the gas world, which, you know, has probably, I don't know how many decades head start, but it's a lot. And, you know, being able to take what they've learned and then translate it to diesel power, I think that's the main goal, is just trying to show it can compete. You know, it may not right at this time be faster, but it's caught up a lot really quick.
Absolutely. And, you know, even stepping back, right, and looking at 5 years ago, a 770 truck was a race truck. Fast forward to today, and we're seeing daily drivers running 770s, and they're still going out and hooking up to a trailer, or, you know, they're doing whatever, but they're driving these trucks to the track. And that, in my opinion, compared to the gas world, is very impressive, because now it's starting to close the gap. You know, you don't see a ton of 7-second street cars. So it's starting to close the gap there, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just so impressive. And then the younger guys that are up and coming, working their way. I started out running ET myself. I'm a huge fan of it. I think it's a great class. It gives you an opportunity to really learn your vehicle. That class, I want to see it keep growing. I want to see every class grow, but I want to see the ET grow, because that's how we can help our younger generations get involved, see that it's okay to use your daily driver. You don't have to have a race truck to per se go out and go on a racetrack.
We had on our last podcast episode that we were talking about that, like just doing bracket racing and how you don't need to have a race truck per se to go out there and have fun. Like, it can be fun running 15 seconds, 12 seconds, 13. It's still fun.
Oh, man, exactly. If you and I had a moped and you challenged me to a race, I'd sign me up. You know what I mean? I think it's the spirit of the competition. Obviously, as time goes on, we all want to advance and go faster, and I think that's every racer's dream, is to go as fast as they can possibly go. You know, whether or not they can financially afford it, it's still our goal to go as fast as physically possible.
Oh, exactly.
But I do believe wholeheartedly that the ET class is a great class to help guys. And they don't even have to be the younger crowd. I think you could be 60 years old and got a new Ford pickup truck that runs really quick from the factory, and you say, hey, man, I just want to come out and trip the beams and go down the track and see if I can do it over and over, you know? So I think that's a big part of what we need to focus on. And at our event, we're pushing heavy. We're doing some great giveaways. Nitrous Express got on board, right? So we're doing a $250 gift certificate for every class. If you win it, turn it into them, guess what? They're going to get some nitrous for your truck. And help you go ahead and go a little faster to get on to that next class.
Exactly.
You know, and you know, speaking of that, though, why I am thinking, the companies have come on board. I mean, it's just awesome. SMB filters, right? So what we're getting ready to release on social media tomorrow is SMB has given us backpacks to give out to our first 1,500 fans that come through the gate. In one of those bags, there's going to be the golden ticket, like Willy Wonka. You get a free intake system from those guys.
Oh, cool.
I mean, how awesome is that SMB jumped on board and stepped up like that?
Yeah.
So some random person's going to get lucky and take home a new SMB. Jambo exhaust, same thing at our booth at the event. We're going to have a raffle, no cost to enter. Tear off a ticket, drop in a bucket. Guess what? Somebody's going to win an exhaust. And I think it's so awesome to see these companies come on board and want to give back to the fans.
That is really cool. Yeah, that's it's always so awesome, and it's helpful too as a fan when you show up and you can go to a booth and you can talk to somebody from a company and ask them questions about products that fit their truck and pricing and how quick can I get it, or maybe they have it there at the event and if they want to buy it they can. It's right there.
Absolutely. And with your experience at ATS, Ryan Gelinas, ATS, he's going to be set up. He does such a great job at speaking with customers or potential customers and just explaining product. And that's the thing where we focus to get more vendors or sponsors of the event, to get them out, because now that's going to give them an opportunity to interact with their customer base and answer these questions. Hey, I want to modify my truck. I want to put a second gen swap on it, right? My Dodge Cummins. And if you do that, hey, Fleece Performance, they're going to be there. You can talk to them about it. It's just so many options. Suncoast Transmissions, they're going to be set up. Ron Wolverton, the guys from there, they're going to be able to talk to you about the problem with your 68 or your 48 or whatever transit may be you're working with, So not only are you getting a race, you're getting an opportunity to meet these people and great companies and interact.
That's so cool, because a lot of times, what we know of companies as fans is what we see on social media or a website or something like that. And being able to actually talk to the designer, the owner, the person who has, is right there in these buildings thinking of the products is so rare. And there's so much to be learned from it, to be able to talk to these people.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes, especially when I was getting involved with diesels more back around the 07, 08 area, I would look at these great companies and I'd say, oh man, they're just so far out of reach. Like, there's not an event close to me. And social media wasn't really that big at that point in time, but I'd see them in the magazines. I'd be like, man, I'd love to pick their brain for a minute and understand why they did this, why my truck does this. And fast forward to today, and it's like, not only do we get to see them, we can go talk to them, and I can ask all these questions that have been aggravating me and keeping me up to 3 o'clock in the morning wondering why.
It was really interesting you brought up the second gen swap, which is really popular. We had a message on social media to the Diesel Podcast, and a fan out there, I actually think he might be in Tennessee or Kentucky, I can't remember, but he's like, the next person you get on that knows something about second gen swaps, can you ask him these couple questions? So since we have you on, I wanted to ask you. His first one was, why do a second gen swap? What makes it better than keeping the turbo in the common rail, whether it's 5.9 or 6.7 location towards the back of the head? What's the benefit to it?
So any opportunity that you can move the turbo to a more balanced airflow, if you will, on the second gen, when you're splitting the cylinders at the right and dead center of the 6, now you're going to get more balanced airflow through the manifold, which is in return going to help the charger perform better, spool up quicker, and overall function and fit. Leading to that next piece, by moving it forward, now we can suddenly put in that large turbo, that 467, which is extremely common. The 67 swap is a great second gen swap on like a 6.7 Cummins. Hugely popular for us. If we're doing a 5.9, we might back it down to like a 64, depending on the fueling. But fitment, airflow, spool is what I would answer with that one.
It's all the three of the things that I think we all want, is that right there. And it's that swap has taken, I think it's become almost more dominant than just doing a regular, third gen manifold with a turbo, keeping it in the same spot. It's really popular, and it's just, there can be some confusion with it, where guys are like, well, what do I do? Why should I move it there? And you answered it, why it's important, and the benefits you get from just moving it to the middle of the head, and how the turbo can perform and the engine itself.
Well, I think that's one of the biggest things to it is if we can help balance that airflow out and not rely on the rear cylinders to really bring the heat in to help spool the charger, moving it up to the center, it obviously makes it easier to do, and in return now we're cooking, Exhaust gas temperature plays a huge part in how responsive the turbo is. My race truck, for example, I don't even try to spool the turbo if I'm at, say, 450, 500 degrees on my EGTs. Now, granted, it's got an 88 millimeter on it, so it's somewhat of a larger charger. But with that being said, I won't even try to start spooling it until I hit about 800. Because at 400 to 500, it's a smoke show.
Right, yeah, it's what's so cool too is, like, you're running an 88, you can on a street truck run a 64 or 67. There's so many choices for turbochargers to fit your application for your truck that it's not like you're stuck with something or you don't have choices. You can basically line that turbo up with however you want to use the truck.
Absolutely. Your options are basically unlimited. And like I say, if you got a 6.7 Cummins, the 467, that is probably the number one swap we do here at the shop. It's a very good setup. The charger is not crazy expensive. The responsiveness is great. If you even need to tow with it, you can still tow with it. So it has a multitude of good positives. I would say from our customer base, our number one question is, what about losing the exhaust brake? That's the real biggie. With that being said, I think after you drove one without an exhaust brake, you would suddenly forget about the exhaust brake. You would suddenly see how much performance you just gained, and you'd say, it turns out I don't tow that much. We get customers that come in and love them to death, but, they're, man, I'm worried about my towing. I'm worried about my towing. Well, okay, how much do you actually tow with the truck in the course of a month? And they'll say, oh, man, I might hook up my lawnmower trailer, once or twice a month and go mow Granny's yard or something. Well, you're not really towing with it a lot, so let's take that off the table, And, so we try to look at it, each situation, and pick what turbo will work the best.
And, people that are heading to this event this weekend, if they want to talk to you about it, they want to ask you, what size turbo do I need? Or, you can, the guys can go look at, I'm sure Fleece is going to have an engine with a display of the second gen swap, or ATS, or any number of the different companies that are there. You can go see it, you can talk to them, you can see the trucks running down the track, and I'm sure there's going to be some of them with second gen swaps. And it's right there.
We just finished a 2008 dually. Literally finished it Saturday. Second gen swap with compounds on it. And it has a BD combo kit on it with a 67 and an 88. The ultimate goal, the truck obviously, it's built internals. It's got injectors from DDP. I mean, it's got the whole 9 yards, right? But guys are welcome to come over to our booth, and we'll have the hood popped. You can see how everything fits, how it clears. This truck is going to be a 1,000-horse truck, so pretty rowdy for a dually. But nonetheless, everybody's welcome to come check it out.
That is awesome, Michael. I'm excited to see it. I won't be able to make it out for the event, but I'm sure there's going to be videos, pictures, people posting on social media about it, and I'm really excited to see where you've got this headed, the companies that are going to be there, the racers that are going to show up, and it's awesome. I think you're doing a great thing for the diesel community and bringing in fans and new fans too, to grow the community and people who are passionate about diesels.
Absolutely. Diesels are not going away. And with that being said, as we grow the family and grow the industry, hopefully us older guys can maybe help out some of the younger guys and teach them, things that we've learned the hard way, and try to help make their days a little bit easier than ours were when we were saying, oh yeah, this ought to work, and finding out immediately, no, it doesn't work.
Yep.
So, I can remember days of you and I speaking and talking about the old silver truck we used to race and the issues I would run into with it, doing a second gen swap on it all the way back in 2011 and making 900 horsepower with it, Yeah. And the problems that I had to entertain with it in a 68, So I can definitely speak from experience. So if anybody listening to this would like to talk to me, please just look for the guy that's running around pulling his hair out, and I will figure out how to make a minute, and we'll talk.
Well, we appreciate your time today, Michael, and we're keeping our eye out for the event, and appreciate what you're doing. And I'm sure there'll be some records set and some cool stories that are going to be, coming out of the event this weekend.
That's what we're looking forward to, and thank you, Patrick, for taking the time with me, buddy.
Don't forget, diesel fans, make sure and go to dieselperformance.com for BD's summer transmission sale, and also to dansdieselperformance.com for drop-in turbos for your Duramax. Till next time, keep the shiny side up.